Hey everyone, I am back with a new reaction video. I hope everybody's doing well. Yeah, I know it's been a minute. I had to make sure I handle some businesses, so getting kind of tied up. But I try to put out as much videos as possible when I can, because we'll be getting kind of busy in the next several weeks. However, I came across this video that I really want to uh, show you guys and give my 2 cents on. But before I continue, YouTube's been having some issues recently with its like button. So some people are not like, you know, it's not working for some reason. When somebody likes something, it's not like doing what it needs to do. So hit that like button, make sure it's working, and share this with your friends. Let me know what you guys think of this. And it's not too long of a video, but I want to react to it. It's like a TikTok video, and I don't usually react. Well, I react to very little TikTok videos, but I came across this and I just had to talk about it. So uh, I also want to make sure I give the person their flowers whenever I can. So definitely follow this lady here. Is EB I guess EBS or Ella. So let's click play and see what she has to say.
Have that would get me canceled. Wealthy people should not feel bad or get shamed for their wealth. They should do hauls without fearing of being canceled or trying to get canceled. Sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Life isn't fair. Some people are born into wealthiness. Some people just get lucky and get rich. And that's nobody's fault. I'm so sick of the comments of people being like, oh yeah, read the room, or oh, wholly insensitive. Like, shut up. Just say you're jealous. Just say you're jealous. Gentle parenting does not.
Facts. Exactly. Now, like, I understand some people's sentiment because this whole eat the rich crap, or I hate Elon Musk for, or, just billionaires in general. Now, you've had like some personal issues with how they carry themselves, and in terms of like, social standing. Okay, maybe, just, you can have your thoughts and opinions about it, but giving a rich person grief, or the fact that, for the sheer fact that they're rich and they get to, uh, maybe because you don't like the fact that they maybe flaunting it, but why are you looking so closely to it? Because, like she said, it just speaks to your jealousy. Rational people will look at it more so as inspirational and try to strive for that. Uh, I'm not going to sit there and look at Jay-Z and talking about read the room. And it's like, no, he earned that. Just pick a wealthy person. They've earned that. As far greater quantities of people who are rich that are self-made, because they have like the brains and the talent, for the most part, that got them there. Bill Gates built like computers, software. It's just like which made him like a perfect example of a self-made billionaire. Leo DiCaprio, like incredible talented actor that rose to stardom off of his own skill. Jay-Z rose to prominence off of his brains and skill. And it's like, what do you expect them to just not accept the money? or you expect some kind of cap. This is how wealthy they should be, especially after the whole Billie Eilish, who, in normal, average, in general circumstances, I typically kind of like, but I disagree on her take about her issue with rich people. Like, girl, you're rich for your talent, just like most of these other people who are rich for their talent and or brains. So, like, get off your high horse, okay? If, I'm pretty sure if you were wealthy, you'll be just like them, flying private jets to Ibiza or whatever. I was like, oh, let me vacate in Amsterdam on a whim because I can. You would, I would, anybody would, if they had that, wealth and status like any of those examples that I pointed out.
Not work. Bring back soap in the mouth. I'm so sick of these entitled, bratty kids that get away with everything, and it's the parents' fault. Parenting does not sensitive. Like, shut up. Just say you're jealous. Just say you're jealous. Gentle parenting does not work. Bring back soap in the mouth. I'm so sick of these entitled, bratty kids that get away with everything, and it's the parents' fault. If you have a penis, you go in.
Yes. I forgot when that whole gentle parenting even started it, but I'm pretty sure it's us millennials' fault. Or at least we listen to some people when we started having our own kids. Not me specifically, but just I think it was somewhere around that general time frame when the millennial generation were started having kids, and we listened to these self-help gurus or whatever because some people did not like how they were parented when they were young, so they have personal issues, and some of them got into being therapists and doctors and come up with self-help books and tapes and decide, gentle parenting was like a proper way to go. Now, there's no manual that is like 100% accurate. This is how you parent, and this will be 100% work for a whole swath of children. But because every parent is different, every child is different. Some kids need like a stronger hand than others. It all depends on the kid. But by and large, we come to understand that gentle parenting is a load of bunk, and you can't be afraid to yell at your kid because in that moment they don't like it and they'll start crying. So, I'm not saying you should beat the kid, but there are rare occasions where you probably need to whoop the kid's ass. And it's a short-term pain for long-term benefits, because if you don't nip it in the bud now, life is going to be way worse than a smack on the bottom at age 8. You're not going to be doing them any benefits if they become 20-something a-holes that society then has to deal with. And you don't want that. So you gotta stop trying to be your kid's best friend. You're not their best friend, you're their parent. Be a parent. Sometimes you need to go upside their head. Sometimes you gotta tell them no. If they're crying in the middle of the store and raising a fuss, smack on the bottom, tell them they ain't gonna be talking back. They ain't gonna be causing no ruckus, embarrassing you and the kid, him or herself. None of that stuff. You got to lay down the law. Be a parent.
To the boys' bathroom. If you have vagina, you go into the girls' bathroom. I don't care what you identify as. Speaking of identification, if you look like a male and I call you sir and you don't go by sir, I cannot be canceled. You then say, hey, actually my pronouns are...
So really quick, the bird hands. I'm sorry. ever since I did the reaction video on my channel with Psychomath, I cannot unsee it. And I don't know why women, some women, not all women, I don't know why I see when I react to videos with women, they can't help themselves doing the bird hands. Stop. That's like, don't y'all notice y'all do that? I understand, like, people, usually talk with their hands, and do the gestures, but it's like you want to seize the point, and you got to get the attention, and you think this is the way to go, and it's not. Just, do at least the Italian way of gesturing, or like, listen to me, or be more inviting. At least do something like that, where it's a more of a please receive what I'm saying gesture, so it can, doesn't feel like commanding. And it's like, this is a conversation, let's have the conversation, not like seize the point and you have to listen because I'm man. Like, I cannot unsee it. It's annoying as hell.
She, her, or they, them. And then I will say, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I will be aware of that, and I will now refer to you as X pronouns. You can't cancel.
Yeah. I'm so glad, society by and large are more and more getting kind of like over with the whole non-binary crap, and the whole bathroom situation was really the tipping point of it all. But it's complicated. But I have my own personal viewpoints on that won't seem very PC on the internet. All I'm going to say is that I will be as courteous as I could possibly be. But if you decide to get up your butt about that entire situation because I refer to you as how I see you with my own eyes, then it just makes me want to just double down on it and be an a-hole because you decide to not like, hey, it's okay, it's cool, it's not a big deal, but but I prefer to be if you're cool about it, I'll be cool about it. If you're an a-hole about it, then I'll be an a-hole about it. That's just the way it is. And I think way too many people who want to be referred to as whatever get all uppity about it and become an a-hole about it and become obnoxious. That's when it's like, okay, I'm not even going to be cool about it, and I'm going to blanket statement all of you because too many of you behave this way because it seems more entitlement that is just like, it's just kind of like a cringe reaction when normal average people have to interact with the minute people who want to behave this way, and it's kind of gives like a reaction to it. And you brought it on yourself, at least the obnoxious part of that community brought it on to the entire of that small community and made it worse for everybody.
Me for something that I didn't know. And when you call someone sir or ma'am, it's obviously out of authority and respectness. That's not even a word, respectfulness, I should say. Not all Republicans and conservatives are racist, homophobic, etc. I am Catholic and I am not homophobic. I believe that God loves everybody, and to group us like that is crazy. Speaking of which, that God loves everyone, that includes all races. No matter who you want to love, no matter what you identify as, we're taught to love everybody. Sure, yeah, there are some Catholics, Christians, conservatives that are very extreme, but 99% of us aren't. And just because I identify as conservative, I do have values from the left, and I do have...
Before she continues on further, I definitely agree with it. It gets kind of grating when I hear, especially from some people in the black community, not all, because I think there's probably more people in the people of color, not just with black people, who can understand where she's coming from, and understand that, okay, it is kind of annoying, and you do feel generally bad for white people, especially those who identify as conservative, that want to either voice their opinion or just trying to live their lives. But as soon as somebody on the Democratic side or the super left hears that like the whole Sydney Sweeney thing, people lost their minds because her family, not sure her specifically, but I imagine she identifies as conservative as well, or at least vote Republican. As soon as they hear that, they just automatically assume the worst, and that's just not fair. And just because they're Republican, they should be allowed to, be Republican and not assume that they're automatically racist or they automatically are xenophobes or whatever. It's like, no, they have an opinion. They believe in a particular thing that might be contrast to what some Democrats that don't believe that. But it's just, there's a middle ground, which she's probably going to get into as well. I'm just more like a moderate Democrat kind of thing, because after the whole Charlie Kirk situation, I'm just like, and how some people reacted so poorly to that man's assassination, I'm just like, oh, you guys are batshit fucking crazy. So I can't really stand by that anymore, because it's just like it befuddles me that you cannot just receive, or at least find some foundation, mutual foundation to agree upon on what he said, and not, just be reactionary, like, oh, it make me feel this way, so I just gonna hate you blanketly. It's just like, no, like, just listen in its totality and not just clips on the internet. There's too many celebrities who do identify as Republican, not the extreme ones, but just reasonable ones who identify or just decide to vote Republican. They are so ostracized in Hollywood, or like Zachary Levi, who's got semi blacklisted from Hollywood because he decided to vote for Trump. And it's like, he mentions on a podcast that I watch of Neurotic, very good episode, by the way. You can definitely should check that out. And he points out there are more celebrities who I won't say identify, but just vote Republican here and there, that they, or at least agree with certain things of a Republican side, they can't really voice because there will be backlash and they won't get more work, and that is not fair. That's why I'm talking about. This whole DEI thing is such a load of bunk, because part of that word is inclusiveness, and it's not inclusive in the mind. Everybody should be able to give their piece without any backlash and have a casual, normal conversations, speak their mind, and vice versa, and without it spiraling into a whole big thing. Like Kevin Sorbo, Dean Cain, Gina Carano, Chris Pratt. Even Chris Pratt got, for a little bit got some backlash because he's very, religious, and it's it was a thing. It's so weird. You can't just yeah, I'm a Christian conservative, and most of the time I vote Republican, and that should be that. That shouldn't hamper or hinder my career opportunities.
Values in the middle. And that's okay. That's fine. I can believe whatever I want to believe, just like you can believe whatever you want to believe. People, especially celebrities, should not get canceled because they are conservative or they have a certain religion. People should be supporting businesses based on the products, not based on the people and their beliefs. There's a name for that. I forgot. That's just, that in itself is like racist. Like, oh, I saw this one girl and she was black and she came on TikTok and she was like, yeah, I'm only supporting black businesses. I'm not supporting crackers. Like, imagine if I went on TikTok and said, yeah, I'm only supporting white businesses. I'm not supporting, and then I say the N-word. I would be canceled like that. But that black lady, she's getting praised. You know what I mean? And they're like, yes, queen, like, you go, girl. No, I don't care what you believe in. I don't care what you identify as. I don't care what skin color you are. If you make a good product, I'm going to buy from you. And then people are like, oh, well, what if the money's going to go to, the LGBTQ community or the left or the right? I don't care what you do with that money. I want your product. If you make a good product, that's all that matters.
Yeah. And that's it's one of the things that, and some black people get flack for this, but we, tend to agree that there are certain people in the black community that has this either chip on their shoulder or that they just, say things without putting some critical thought behind it. Because whether you like it or not, white people are a race. Saying things like that will make you sound racist. White people are not just some amorphous blob, clear color that doesn't have an identifying color, so they can't be a race. So you can say whatever nonsense you can about them to your heart's content. No, they are a race too. Okay? Is it fun to make fun of them? Certainly. I have a great time making fun of them from time to time. Just like I have a great time making fun of black people's, whatever race. It's a free-for-all. But when you single them out or harp on one particular community, like on and 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 on, then there is a glaring issue. The fact that she, this black woman she is referencing, has the metaphorical cojones to just say something like that. She's free to say whatever she wants to say. It's America. One of the greatest things about this country. Say whatever you want to say. But we have, the right to respond verbally most of the time, and rightly should be the verbal way to say, yeah, that's nonsense. Okay? Like, great, you want to support black businesses, that's cool. If you want to build your own business that's black owned, that's cool. But in the process, you don't need to then add on this demoralizing statement about not wanting to sell to, in this particular case, a white person. Get out of your feelings. Stop playing a victim. If they're good customers and they see a product that you're selling, you should have no qualms of selling it to them. Because that's how you build business. Not all black people is going to be going to this particular black establishment and only buying from there. It's kind of like the whole thing with Michael Jordan. He says, Republicans buy my shoes too. That is the mindset you have to have when you're making something of your own. Everybody should be able to enjoy it. They have the right to. You put out, especially if you put out a good product, they should have the right to enjoy said good product. Okay? Black people are not the only ones living in this country, on this planet. We have to share with every other race, including white people. And not every white person is just nefarious, racist, or evil. Generally speaking, they're generally pretty good people. Okay? Are there real racists out there? I'm not naive to say there aren't. Of course there are. But you'd be hard pressed to just come across them willy-nilly. Okay? Not every comment coming from a white person has to have some undercover meaning behind it, like, oh, that's, subtle racism. No, if it's either racist or it's not. If you can't, you know, tell in totality, then you can't really claim it. You just base it on your personal feelings and you just assuming it, but you don't have no concrete like evidence to it, so you can't really claim it. Like, I'm not going to look at every white person as somebody who can potentially put me in a cotton field. Okay, stop it. Okay, I'm going to just assume that they're just decent people trying to live their lives, and I'm going to interact with them like a decent human being, and not somebody I gotta watch my back over. That's not right. That's not no way to live.
If you think about it, all money is dirty money. Like, whatever. Also, brands should not be canceled because they don't have a certain race or a certain profile of people in their ad. Drinking and driving is way too normalized, and people think it's cool to drink and drive.
Yeah, these commercials, they gotta have every race known to man in it, or they gotta have like a constant stream of interracial couples. Is just kind of like, okay, it's kind of nauseating. Okay, not everything got looks like an average college campus where every color underneath the blue moon is being represented. It's like, there's a lot of awesome commercials that I grew up with that is just very simple, homely, from time to time, or just plain old funny. That isn't like, they might have maybe one or two person of color in it, and it might be predominantly black or predominantly white, whatever. Is it a good commercial? Is it doing its job of selling the product? That's all that matters. And it's like, now it has like that, and TV shows and movies got to have some type of mandate, or like some I forgot what the word is, but basically, like, this is what you got to have, this amount of people and this of this demographic involved. Otherwise, it won't get a green light. It's weird. Okay, people can just make what they want, and if it's having to be predominantly white, it's not gonna affect my life all that much, if any.
Just look at you like you are the stupidest person on earth. It's not cool. It's not a flex. It's disgusting. Okay, I definitely have more opinions, but that's that for now. Here are some opinions that
I like this video. I really like this video, and like, I definitely agree with a lot to what she says, and I think I'm so glad we got over that hump that we were steeped in like 4 or 5 years ago, where a person, especially a white person, can't just speak their minds without them being canceled or being called racist, or having like a profile being taken down, or they not getting any jobs because they decide to go against like the grain, or like, because these companies are afraid of losing like businesses, because it's like, yeah, we're not going to have some non-binary overweight woman with surgical scars or whatever on our Coca-Cola ad. It's just like, that, a CEO shouldn't be let go by the board because he dared to say, like, yeah, that's not going to sell many products. We should be selling to people of a wider demographic and not the hyper-Pacific ones, because it's not many of those hyper-Pacific ones out there in this country, let alone the world. It's just like, it's not a smart way to do business. God, I'm so glad we got past that, because like, I don't want nobody getting canceled for giving their thoughts. And it's like, yeah, the vast majority are just kind of sick of this woke BS. And I hate using that term woke, but it's just an apt description of what we've been steeped in the past 4 or 5 years. That it gotten to the point where even the most reasonable person that identifies as Democratic or left can see, like, yeah, that's kind of crazy. This doesn't make sense. And bringing that up shouldn't be threatened of losing future opportunities or jobs, or not being able to put more content out on their YouTube channel or TikTok or whatever. It's just a fact. And I think we all should be in agreement with it. You don't have to agree with whatever opinion that come across. Like, there's a lot of people I like that I don't agree 100% of what they say, but they have the right to voice their opinion, and we gotta come together and understand. All right, there's a certain level of nonsense that's been permeating the zeitgeist in recent years that we all should come together and agree. Okay, we need to stamp this out because it's too much. There ain't gonna be no perfect utopia where we all sing songs and hold hands, sing kumbaya. It's not gonna be a thing. Okay, we can strive, but it's never gonna be a thing realistically. Like, you should be able to get rich without feeling guilty about it. You should be able to vote Republican and state your opinions on what Republicans do that you agree with, without worrying about losing livelihood over it. That's not crazy to say. Anyway, I'm curious to know what you guys' thoughts on. Leave a comment below, and I'll see you guys later. And definitely follow this young lady here, because she is, just hitting the nail on the head on her takes here. So I'll see you guys soon. Take care.